Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor and glory due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakwadash. Also want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstones, teaching this truth and sincerity, and also who rule well, teach well. Peace and salutations to the whole for elect that scattered four corners of the earth, you so-called Negroes, Latino, Hispanics, and Native American Indians, the so-called Israelites, the nation that the Lord is dealing with. So his brother Yuanathon from Great Millstone, Detroit, just coming back at you with another lesson. And, don't know exactly what I want to entitle it. I also put it like Eve can have multiple husbands in wickedness, but men can have multiple wives in righteousness. Yeah, because when you come to this truth and we come back to our heritage, be in the kingdom, things like that, the men are gonna have multiple wives. It's not going off. You can't have that westernized mindset that you can only have one wife. Okay, so I want to grab this one, Genesis 1, I think it's 23. So 28. It says, and Yahweh blessed them, and Yahweh said unto them, be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. So he wanted it to be fruitful and multiply. What is Ephraim? Ephraim means to be fruitful, but it's to mean to procreate. Now, when you look at how a woman can populate versus a man can populate way faster than a woman can. So if you have, this is wicked, but if you have one woman and a whole bunch of men, and she gotta populate, when she gets pregnant, she has to wait out that 9 months. But vice versa, he just gotta lay down with a woman, on to the next, on to the next, and on to the next. Because this is what we used to do back in the ancient times. But we were so lost to the things that we used to do. And yeah, it hurts you women, but honestly, you women do the same thing in wickedness. You have a man to do this, do that. They can pay you. Men can just pay you just to get the box. But that's nasty, man. It's trifling. All right, let's grab some more scriptures. Let's get Exodus. This is also inspiration by the elder Manasseh Zakba. This is Exodus 21:10. It says, if he take him another wife, her food and her raiment and her duty of marriage shall not be diminished. So it's not going off. He's not saying, don't have another wife. It's basically saying, if you do come across another wife or a concubine, the original wife, don't put off your duties on her. Still keep her. Still do what you normally do when you had that original wife, man. Okay? Because they be talking about, man, that's fornication, having more than one wife. No, no, that's not what fornication is. All right. So let me grab this one. Be right back. Slack. I just wanted to grab the other sword because this is what real fornication is. So when we got the Exodus, it's not going off to you have multiple wives, man. Fornication is when you step out, or adultery is when you step out and mess with a woman that already has a husband. Okay. So let me grab this one. says, this is 2 Samuel 11, and it will now start at 2. And it says, and it came to pass at evening tide, and David arose from his bed and walked up on the roof of the king's house, and from the roof he saw a woman washing herself, and the woman was very beautiful to look upon. So, you know, David, he's like, you see this girl, like, why? Like, wash? And he's like, oh, shoot, she stacked, she got curves. You know how Jake is. All right. And it says, and David sent then and inquired after the woman. And one said, is not this Bathsheba, the daughter of Elam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite? All right, so he's like, yo, that's Uriah's girl. Verse 4, and it says, and David sent messengers and took her, and she came in unto him, and he lay with her, for she was purified from the uncleanliness, and she returned unto her house. So when he lay with her, they basically had sex. All right. And it says, and the woman conceived and sent and told David and said, I was with child. Now David got this woman pregnant. Now basically David set up Uriah to be on the front line so he can, you know, get slaughtered during the battle. But reading on, I'll jump down to 26. Actually, the 26, and it reads, and when the wife of Uriah heard that Uriah, her husband, was dead, she mourned for her husband. Verse 27, and when the mourning was past, David sent and fetched her to his house, and she became his wife, and bare him a son. It says, but the thing that David did done displeased the Lord. So that's where the issue came. And going on, he didn't kill David, but he had to get punished. Okay? So that's when, you know, you're going off. You can't be having, you know, multiple wives with women that already has a husband. Okay? That's the issue. But like if that woman don't have a man, she's a virgin, hey, I'm not gonna get into it because he's gonna start with the grape stuff, so I'm gonna be careful. But regardless, like, what is up with you? What is up like with this simp? Like, you wouldn't want to have multiple women, okay? Because listen, there's gonna be a time where you can have a choice, but these women they gonna really show their true colors that, hey, they ain't so tough, and that they're really gonna need a man. All right, so this is Isaiah 41. It reads, in that day 7 women shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. All right, and like I said, that 7 is going into completion. You know, you can probably have 7, you can probably have 2, you can probably have 100. Regardless, it's just going to be sufficient in the completion of that man to have those women. All right, and it says we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. You know, so basically, you don't got to do nothing. We can take care of ourselves. We ain't gonna make it hard for you. It says, let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. Because back then, man, you know, women were actually having kids at younger age, and it would be, I guess, an abomination or embarrassment to be called an old maid. All right. So these are some things that you got to look at. So let me grab one more. Because, yo, look at King Solomon. That was Yahushai, the reincarnate. That was him in the past. And guess what? Look at the record for him. Let's get 1 Kings. Let's lock it. then let me get started. Let me see. We'll start at 3. We'll just get to the point. This is how King Solomon was getting down. And it says, this is 1 Kings 11:3, and it says he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. But yeah, because when Solomon got older, he got into the idols of the other nations of the women that he was concubines that he was dealing with. But as you can see, it's not that he was going on because he was dealing with so many women. It's just those women that he was dealing with got him turned on to all these idols, man. And that's why you have, when Solomon fell, you had the splitting of the northern and southern kingdom. But again, point is, there's nothing wrong with having multiple wives and concubines. We're going to have that in the kingdom as well. We're going to have it. You're going to see it when times get bad in Jacob's trouble, and then we're going to continue on when we get to the kingdom of heaven, man. Point blank, period. Because the laws that we had in the past are going to be reestablished in the kingdom. All right. But nevertheless, Lord willing, I hope this video is edifying. And again, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakudash. And again, double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who teach truth and sincerity, and also who rule well. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. I'm going to close out and say Shalom.